Happy New Year from Miss Malt. I look forward to bringing you more whisky reviews and whisky videos in 2017. Hello again, I hope you all had a really lovely Christmas and enjoyed some time off. So I'm actually in England at the moment, in Cumbria, in front of the Glengoyne Hall, which is a place a few of us have booked for a weekend, so I just thought it'd be quite nice to do a little filming whilst we're outside. So this video is not really a review. I thought it'd be quite nice to just have a little chat about some of my experiences. So as you may know, I used to work at Glengoyne Distillery. I was there for about 5 years, and I thought it'd be nice to just discuss the top 5 things, in my opinion, about working at a single malt distillery. So the first thing, top of my list, has got to be the staff that I worked alongside. So at Glengoyne I started as a tour guide, and the majority of the tour guides, when they're hired for the job, they tend to be outgoing, quite chatty, charismatic, and fond of a laugh. So you can imagine if you put a whole lot of people like that together, it's almost like a comedy festival. The atmosphere at work was never super strict. You know, if you were late, you were more likely to be made fun of than told off. We also had running jokes between the guides about the length of our tours. Generally there's a set length that your tour should be, and some guides like to blether a bit too much and they'd hold everyone up and cause a traffic jam in the stillhouse. We'd also like you be out on tour and you might wave to some of the other guides. And of course there was also the issue of the volume in the stillhouse. So you can imagine Glengoyne is a particularly small distillery, and the stillhouse is quite compact, and if the stills were on, if the mash tun was on, it's already pretty loud. And then if you have a tour guide comes in with a large set of lungs and they start bellowing out their tour, you've got to then go in and try and compete with that to ensure that your group can hear what you're saying. I remember one time in particular, I came into the stillhouse with my group and there's another guide already in there, and he has a particularly loud voice. So he was already talking loudly. So I went in with my group, and then I decided to try and raise it up a level to, drown him out. But then he got louder again. So he was, you can imagine, if he's already doing his tour and he's talking about a level sort of this kind of sound, then you've got to go in and beat that, which is what I did. But then he came back even louder, being like, "This is the mash tun!" And so it got to the point that I literally couldn't stop myself from laughing, and my whole group were laughing as well. Just how funny the whole thing was. The other thing I would say is some of the tour guides, there were some real class acts. People came from different walks of life into that job, and there was one lady, for example, who loved to sing on her tour, and she would get businessmen on a corporate outing to be holding hands and singing around the wash bags. There was another lady who came from a theatrical background, and so her whole tour was a performance. She would like, "Follow me through this way for Act 2. So it meant every time, if you came to visit the distillery, you would get a different tour depending on which guide you had. There is also an amazing age range from the staff. I think the youngest guide when I was there was 17, up to the oldest was a lady in her 80s. And it really did feel like a family working together. Although of course there was certainly some aspects of banter to it. Sometimes you'd maybe be splitting a group and we'd say things to each other like, "Okay, if this group of 18 would like to go with X, and those of you who want a real tour, if you come with me." So whilst the team, we had a lot of fun together, we really were like a family in some ways. Over the 5 years, there were certainly some times at work when I had been upset about various different things, but there was always someone around who could give you a little hug or take you aside or just calm you down. There was no pressure to hide it. You could be who you want, you could be open. Of course, there was always plenty of open bottles as well, so that helped. Number 2, this has got to be the scenery of the distillery. So this again is based on Glengoyne, which is one of Scotland's most stunning distilleries. It was a magical place to work. It's been described as picture postcard. If you haven't been, it's based at the bottom of a hill, and all around that there's sort of rolling fields. Scottish countryside, it's perfect. Even if you took that away, this distillery itself, there's such elegance to the stillhouse, for example. The copper stills, they were always kept so clean and polished, and sometimes it was nice just to take a moment, stop and look about where you were working, and this is where you were spending your 9 to 5 in front of these gorgeous machines that were producing this amazing drink. Another biggest thing was the smell, the aroma that came from the washbacks. Depending on what stage of fermentation they were at, there could be different aromas, but I think I preferred it the most when it was really active and there was that sweetness with a bit of sharpness to it as well. And I can't, of course, not mention the warehouses. With some of the longer Glengoyne tours, we'd go down to the warehouses and we'd maybe be showing a group their own private cask, and you could spend the afternoon just wandering between these casks, soaking up that atmosphere. It was so peaceful, so calm, and just to know that these casks had whiskey sleeping inside them, which produced this gorgeous aroma in the warehouses as well. It really was something to cherish. Number 3 has got to be the people that I met that were visiting the distillery. So undoubtedly I learned so much from the training that I had at Glengoyne, but I also gained a wealth of knowledge from just chatting to different people that came on a tour with me, particularly in the longer tours where maybe you sat down for half an hour afterwards, had some drams, and you could just chat about different whiskey experiences. It could be, you know, a couple of wee old men that have got the bus in from Glasgow and they would tell you about the first time they ever tasted whiskey, or they remember their dad drinking it, or more often than not there would be people that were about to go to Islay, or maybe they've just come back from Islay. And so we talk about the Fèis Isle Festival or the Islander way of life. It didn't feel like work just to sit and chat and hear amazing stories about whiskies people have tried, or places they've visited, or experiences they've had at different distilleries. So that is definitely up there with one of the top things about working at a malt distillery. Of course, there were some visitors to the distillery that also didn't really have much in the way of experience with whiskey, or they didn't know too much about whiskey. In particular, there were often large coach parties that would have booked a full day around Scotland, and they maybe do Loch Lomond, Stirling Castle, things like that as well. And I do remember someone asking me, in fact I think it happened more than once, people saying, is this famous grouse? Because that's probably one of the top names, and they didn't quite get the difference. We also had a corporate dinner that I worked at, and the managing director stood up and thanked Glenfiddich for a wonderful evening. That was quite funny. There was also a time there was an operatic choir that requested to sing in the stillhouse, and I was lucky enough not to be on tour at that particular moment, so I was able to run down to the stillhouse and hear this amazing sound as this choir filled the stillhouse with their voices, and it echoed and bounced off the stills, off the walls. It was truly stunning. Another amazing moment was when I was at the back of the Glengoyne shop. I think I just finished a tour, and I could see this girl was looking at me, and I was looking back and I thought, I recognise that girl, but I couldn't think from where. She came over and we started chatting, and I realised that we'd met in Canada, where I lived for a year as part of my degree. She was also on exchange there, so she, I think, came from Australia, and she had since then moved to London, and she came up on a trip to Scotland, and of course she wanted to go to a whisky distillery, and so we just happened to meet by chance at the back of the shop, and it was an amazing moment because, you know, we met so far across the world, and she's from Australia, I was from Scotland, we met in Canada, but we were reunited at Glengoyne. What I also really love is quite a few times I've had people come up to me and they've recognised me from taking them on tour. It's happened quite a lot. I was up in Inverness, I think I was at Dalmore Distillery, and a chap said, excuse me, did you used to work at Glengoyne? I said, oh I did. He was like, you did our tour for us. So that got us chatting then, so that was quite good. And then another time I was on Islay, I think it was the Fèis Isle Festival 2015, and a chap again said, excuse me, did you ever work at Glengoyne? I was like, yeah I did, and turned out I think I worked a dinner with him. There's also been a couple of gents that have done a tour with me at Glengoyne, but have also since come along to one of my tastings, and they actually got me to sign a leaflet because they said, we met you as an apprentice and you're now the CEO. I think they had, well, it was at the end of the tasting, they had a fair few whiskies, but it was lovely of them. So that's something that's special, is that you know, you can be visiting different places and people, if they recognise you, it connects you. Number 4. Obviously it's a single malt distillery, so we had a lot of access to truly outstanding malts. I think one of the best whiskies I've ever tasted was the Glengoyne 40-year-old. It retailed at £3,750, and there was an open bottle, and I just remember a member of staff said, do you want to try some? And I actually couldn't believe I was going to get to try it. It was absolutely stunning. The closest thing to nectar, I think. So obviously that was such a privilege to be able to try that whisky. I think along those lines as well, any new tour that Glengoyne released or new whisky, we were given a taste of it first. So even experiences like being able to draw the whisky straight from the cask and just savouring something that is so special. Number 5 is being part of something that Scotland does so well. So for many distilleries, they're celebrating their 200th anniversary or even more than that. So I'm so privileged to be part of an industry that is popular all over the world, and I'm able to showcase it. I'm quite patriotic as it is, but I just love the fact that I can show off what Scotland does best. We may not win many football matches or rugby games, but we can make a damn good whisky. Other countries can make whisky, they can make malt, but they'll never make a Scotch. So that's my top 5 things about working at a single malt distillery. As I said at the beginning, it's based on my experiences and my opinions. Don't take it as gospel, I just thought it'd be quite nice to have a little bit of a chat. If you're looking for another review, don't worry, I'll do one just shortly. This is a Glengoyne 21-year-old, by the way. So thank you for watching, and I look forward to bringing you more videos in 2017. Thank you.